All right, so today is February 1st, and this month's challenge is called the Push Pull Legs Challenge by Devi, of course. I'm doing this with my friend Angela Stevens. Definitely go follow her on her channel because she goes live doing the same challenge, at Angela Stevens 21. She's a beast, and yeah, you should definitely follow her page. All right, not doing kettlebells today, but today's day one for February 1st is push. Also, shout out to all my black people. Happy Black History Month. Let's get it cracking. So, the weights that I have access to are a little heavy. And for push pull legs, it gives me the option to do 6 to 10 reps. I'm going to try to just get, uh, with these 35-pound weights, I'm probably, for my shoulder exercises like the lateral raises, probably only going to do six because these weights are a little heavy. But I don't want to rock and do bad form or whatever. I'm trying to do as strict as possible. So that's where I'm at. If it does get too heavy, I might have to do one arm at a time with my 25-pound um, dumbbell, at least until I can go get me another 25-pound dumbbell at Walmart or something. We shall see. Push pull legs. Today's podcast is from the Body Honesty Project. You should definitely go follow that channel. She gets some good information about weight loss, and she's real positive about it and stuff. So, all right, let's get it cracking.
Hello, YouTube, and welcome to the Body Honesty Project. My name is Lydia, and today we will be discussing correlation and causality. Now, I did a video like this, I think last spring or last summer, but I wanted to revisit the topic because, in light of the new data from the Ozempic studies, I really think I have a much stronger case. Now, my background is computer science and mathematics, so I love to play with numbers and see what
Instead of
sense I can
doing
make of them.
one set of
This
each
will
and
not
going
be a
around in a
scientific
circle,
proof, but I
we'll
think
do all
that
four
the
sets
evidence
of
from
the
the
first
Ozempic studies
exercise,
really shows that
then
obesity
rest,
is a cause of
all
disease
four sets of
and
the
not
second
simply a
exercise, then
correlation.
rest,
So
so on and
let's
so
launch
forth.
this
There's only
next
four
lesson into
exercises
that
to do. So
and discuss.
for each set, it says I should get 2 minutes, which is good because that was kind of heavy.
I just know that there is a stronger relationship between weight and disease than these people will ever say. I just need the numbers to back it up. The data from the Ozempic studies sure highlighted the benefits of weight loss with respect to disease. Maybe there's something I can use in there.
When they compared Ozempic to Trulicity dropped A1C by an average of 1.3 points compared to an average of 1.6 points with Ozempic. In another study, people using Bydureon got an average A1C reduction of 0.9.
And also next month, we'll be doing the Gauntlet Challenge, and I'm also probably going to start my ninjutsu training. So,
Even a clinical trial that compared Ozempic to Lantus, the most commonly used
got a lot of plans for this year to better myself, not just physically but mentally. Get back into my martial arts heritage.
Compared to 0.9 points in people using Lantus. I'll be honest, that surprised me. As far as weight loss,
the instructor that I'm choosing to go through, she's amazing. She's a friend of mine. Her name is Sok Anshu. She's a yeah, she's a ninjutsu master
people taking Victoza lost just over 4 pounds compared to 13
from
pounds.
Kansas City.
So wait,
She's
all
hardcore and she's
GLP-1
legit.
diabetes medications lower A1C and produce weight loss. But Ozempic lowers A1C the most and drops weight the most. If Lantus, the drug that is best at improving insulin secretion, didn't lower A1C the most, wouldn't that mean that weight loss is not only a factor, but a crucial factor for lowering A1C? Previous studies have shown that weight loss on its own also lowers A1C. So isn't it a fair assumption to make that the reason why Ozempic lowers A1C the most is because it also lowers weight the most? And if correlation is two things happening at the same time, is it still correlation if the change in one directly results in the change of the other? If obesity and high A1C levels are occurring concurrently, and a drop in obesity produces a drop in A1C, wouldn't you say that that's causal, not correlated? Because if it wasn't, what was the cause? And if we get into the causes of obesity, remember this.
Some key contributors to obesity include disordered eating, age-related changes, genetic and epigenetic factors, smoking cessation, sleep deficits, the gut microbiota, physical disabilities, maternal and paternal obesity, increased sedentary time.
Well, of all those causes, Ozempic only addresses appetite. The drug doesn't make people exercise.
With tomorrow's pools, I should be able to do everything at
It
full
doesn't change your genetics, and it doesn't stop you from aging.
reps.
It only controls your appetite. So if most people that take Ozempic lose weight, and the only thing that changed was their appetite, wouldn't you say that food intake is causal to obesity? And based on the Ozempic data, can we not also say that obesity causes high A1C levels and type 2 diabetes? But wait, there's more.
Another really nice benefit that Ozempic has over other certain types of diabetes medications, including some in the same class, is that it's been shown to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. Like all type 2 diabetes medications, Ozempic was required to be tested in a dedicated clinical trial to prove that it doesn't raise the risk of heart disease. And in that study, they actually found that it reduced the risk by 26%. This is important because the risk of things like cardiovascular death, heart attacks, and strokes is so much higher in people with type 2 diabetes that we need to do everything we can to try to reduce the risk of people experiencing one of those events.
So wait, this drug that was never meant to treat heart disease not only is safe, but actually reduces risk. And look, it's now been approved to treat heart disease patients too. But why? What does this drug do? Well, normal heart medications thin blood, open arteries, and increase circulation. This drug does none of that. It addresses only insulin resistance and weight gain. So, if the only beneficial thing this drug does for patients with heart disease is lower their weight, and they also experience a 26% decreased risk of heart disease, don't you think that weight is more than just a correlation? The drug affects your appetite, which is the cause of weight gain. Then it decreases your weight, which also lowers your risk of heart disease. If weight was only correlated to heart disease, a drop in weight wouldn't result in such a substantial decrease in risk. So let's summarize that information.
3 down, 1 to go.
Ozempic is the leading diabetes medication available now because it lowers A1C the most. It also lowers your weight the most, and weight loss has been shown to lower A1C levels on its own. So doesn't that mean that lowering your weight is causal to lowering your A1C? Therefore, increasing your weight would also be causal to increasing your A1C? And then when we look at the heart medications, we see that Ozempic is now used to treat patients that have heart disease, but it doesn't thin blood or open arteries or improve circulation. It only helps you lose weight. And the weight loss on its own makes a 26% decreased risk in developing heart disease. So why is it that it's just a correlation when the only thing that we're manipulating here is weight? I think there's far too much evidence here to simply call it a correlation. So with all of that information in mind, let's now revisit the TikTok from Hannah about correlation and causality.
One of the most common questions I get is, how can you say there's no relationship between weight and health? And first of all, virtually nobody is saying that.
What I and many other fat activists are saying, and in fact we're begging people to understand this, is that as it stands in the current research, the relationship between weight and health is correlational, not causal. So some research methods 101. When two things are correlated, it means that they're happening at the same time. It does not mean that one thing is causing the other thing. For example, there's a very strong correlation between male pattern baldness and heart attacks, which is true. Now, based on that information, should we ascertain that baldness causes heart attacks? Should we try to get bald men to grow hair in an effort to reduce their likelihood of having a heart attack and then blame them when they can't do it? No, because what's actually happening is that a third factor seems to be at play, which contributes to both baldness and heart attacks. What I'm suggesting
Alright,
is that we
that's
look
it.
much more closely at third factors at play when it comes to weight and health. For example, fat people frequently have our blood pressure taken with blood pressure cuffs that are too small. The problem with that is that when you use a cuff that's too small, it will always result in a false high reading. And this happens all the time. So these are the kinds of things I think about when someone says that fat people have higher rates of hypertension. I think,
Alright,
of course we do.
lateral raise is done.
False high readings. And
Now I'm doing bent
there are a
over
number of very
lateral
influential
raises.
third factors that contribute to the overall trend of health problems for fat people, such as weight stigma, also known as the stress of discrimination, something that fat people experience a lot. Another is weight cycling. Virtually all fat people have tried to lose weight at some point in our lives, but pursuing weight loss is a virtual guarantee.
With these, I'm only doing
weight cycling, which is extremely
6
hard on
reps,
the
4
body.
sets as well.
And finally, we have inaccessible, inequitable, and biased healthcare. Fat people experience all of these things, and all of them contribute to illness. But despite all of these third factors, discrimination, stress, weight cycling, limited healthcare, biased healthcare, incompetent healthcare, and a lack of proper medical equipment, the cultural conversation around weight and health refuses to evolve. People, especially thin people, tend to be very committed to upholding fat phobia. People are just more comfortable believing that fat people do bad things and that leads to bad health, and thin people do good things and that leads to good health, despite the fact that we know that's very misleading, very stigmatizing, and often untrue. Turns out the pushback that I get on this topic is not really about health. It's fat phobia all along, guys.
So Hannah's definition of correlation was two things happening at the same time. Now, there's a very, very popular example of correlation, which is ice cream sales versus outdoor swimming pool depths, because they correlate. But the reason why they correlate is because there is the third factor of weather, because warm weather increases ice cream sales, as well as increases the number of people that go swimming in outdoor pools, thus increases outdoor swimming pool depths. But this correlation can be broken with an external factor. What if all the dairy farmers went on strike and there was no ice cream? Well, the warm weather would still drive people to go swimming. And what if some of the pools had to close because of construction? Well, the warm weather would still drive people to buy ice cream, but not as many people would go swimming, and then not as many people would die. The same cannot be true
With the chest flies and the chest press, I'm going to do the full 10 reps.
Obesity and diabetes are occurring at the same time.
Those are a little bit easier to do with
undergoes some sort of
35-pound weights.
that causes them to lose weight, their A1C is also going to drop. The external event was not related to the disease, but the drop in weight will cause a drop in A1C, which is why I say it's causal and not correlated. And for Hannah's hair loss example with the correlation between obesity, hair loss, and heart disease, she is right. There is a third factor. But the third factor is obesity, because obesity increases your risk of heart disease as well as hair loss. That's because decreased circulation accelerates the hair loss process. So yes, Hannah, there is a third factor. You just have them out of order. Now, I'd also like to go back to the jock scientist's point that
Everybody can be impacted and affected by those conditions. That's why weight is not the cause
Hey,
of
babe,
that. Weight is correlated with them.
and I question that logic, because why can we not have multiple causes? Why must we only have one cause? Because we can accomplish things in multiple ways. There isn't always one cause. If I were to play a lot of extreme sports, there would be an increase increased risk that I would break a limb. But I don't have to play extreme sports to break a limb. I could break my leg jumping out of a plane, or I could break my leg getting run over by a bus. I don't have to do that action in order to break my leg. The cause could be the impact of hitting the ground, or the cause could be the pressure of the bus running over my leg. Both are valid causes. So just because thin people can also get diabetes and heart disease does not mean that obesity does not pose additional risk. A thin person could get a heart attack due to low hemoglobin versus a fat person getting a heart attack due to a clogged artery. They are both valid causes. They're just different, and they both have the same end result, meaning your heart stops beating. And I also want to point out that thin people can also have heart attacks due to the same consequences that are afflicting obese people. A person can look thin on the outside and have a lot of fat on the inside. And guess what? The same prescription applies to them too. Their doctors too will tell them the importance of good nutrition and moving their body, even though they are already thin. And I don't understand why we can't call this a cause. This is a blocked artery. What is it blocked by? Fat. The fat is impeding the blood from flowing to the heart. If we can reduce the fat, the blood will flow. Why can this not be a cause? Do all obese people get this affliction? No. But is your risk higher if you are obese?
Yep.
Yes. So can we not deduce that obesity increases your risk of developing arterial plaque, which will cause a heart attack? At the end of Hannah's video, she brought up a whole lot of things about fat phobia and stigma with fat patients in the medical industry. And I actually agree with a lot of the things that she said. I do think that changes need to be made, but not in the direction that Hannah was going. I do believe that we should be more compassionate when we're caring for all patients. And I also think that we do need to put more emphasis on mental health. When someone has an illness, their prescription should include psychological and emotional support and help. I don't think it's effective to shame people into losing weight. But I also don't think that it's effective or helpful to tell people that they're fine as is and to not lose weight. We need to do a better effort at providing the tools.
Also, I ordered my Pixel Watch
in order to do weight loss in an effective way to be successful. 2 weeks ago, I showed a video where Dr. Stanford
did myself one new thing a year for myself.
Now, in my opinion, and I'm not a doctor, this
as
is
a
my
gift to
personal
myself.
opinion,
And that's
I think we should take
the
it
one thing that I
one
got
step
myself.
farther and treat it like an addiction.
Yeah.
And I am someone who has
This Fitbit has got me through
recovery. I did a
some of the worst time periods in my life.
Me so much. It gets to the core.
I'm forever grateful. Got me to the point where I'm at now.
And make plans
it's time for an upgrade.
Better. And the type of people that were in my recovery group were recovering from addictions of all sorts. It wasn't just drugs and alcohol. It was drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, social media, food. Everyone was all together, and we were all dealing with our problems in a way that made us more accountable and responsible and empowered. I'm also a big believer in therapy. My therapist helped me uncover my childhood traumas and really start to heal. All of this is necessary when you're embarking on major lifestyle changes. And I think that we should put emotional and psychological support at the forefront when we're treating patients. Support that's needed to help them do the right things, not support that tells them you're fine as is. Because being nice to people's feelings while shielding them from the truth isn't very kind or honest. And on this channel, we're all about being honest.
All right.
So until next
now it's time to get low and go to the flow.
But also, body honest.
Doing chest flies. Let's get it cracking.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. Hi, my name is Kayla. If you are new here, I'm this channel talk about everything whatever I want. And if you are a return subscriber, hi, it's so nice to see you. I love you. Okay, so right now, as I'm recording this video, it looks like I'm around 590 subscribers. Like, oh my goodness, oh my god. Like, thank you guys so crazy much. You guys are incredible. You guys are so kind. I really appreciate every single one of you. You guys are so sweet and I love you. And if you want to be part of the Shade Off crew, please feel free to subscribe. It's free and you get a piece. And I talk on my family board all the time. So if you're on there, I'm going to be doing a little Q&A video. I don't know if it's going to be a live stream yet or just like a sit down video like this. Let me know if you want to see me do a live stream. I'll do a poll on it and get to know me a little bit as
One
a
down, three to
person,
go.
as a creator, as a former fat activist, and as a former binge eater. So yeah, so today we're going to be talking about Whale, a movie that I saw a couple weeks ago and it crushed me. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was really intense. And I just kind of want to talk about my experience watching The Whale as somebody that was a former binge eater and go through some TikToks or some fat activists that were really against the entire production of The Whale and talk about, what their opinions are, just try to dissect them a little bit and come from a place of empathy. I want to state right now that this channel is not about bullying people for the way that they look. It's not about bullying people for their size. And I believe in the sense of fat phobia that does exist. I feel like people do genuinely hate fat people for just being fat and nothing else, and I believe in that wholeheartedly. But I'm just here to debunk the medical misinformation as well as the overall negativity that's in the group as somebody that was formerly in it and was enveloped from the
Looks like they mix in some half days for push pull legs as well. That's interesting.
I don't think it's appropriate, and if you do that, I do not like you. So just please keep all commentary civil, constructive, helpful, so on.
All right, set number two.
Maybe people look whatsoever. Because as somebody that had a form of thinking disorder and somebody that have a weight issue, making fun of people for their size does not help. Okay, it doesn't help. I promise you, it doesn't help. So we just want to talk about my criticisms and my grievances with the community in an open space. And also, I want to point out I made a whole community post about this a couple days ago. I feel like in the anti-fat acceptance space, there's also a lot of anti-queerness and anti-blackness. Please note, I am definitely anti-racist and I'm definitely pro-queer, pro-trans, whatever,
Two down, two to go.
I am pro all of that. So if you're going to come on this channel thinking that I am some sort of anti-gay, anti-black person, like, I'm sorry, I'm not that for you, and actually not really sorry. Like, I'm sorry that if I ever made myself appear that way, because I'm definitely not. I am just anti-fat acceptance. So, yeah. Cool. Okay, now that all that's out of the way, let's talk about the movie The Whale. Oh yeah, there's gonna be spoilers. So if you haven't seen it yet and you want to see it, don't watch this. But if you don't want to see it or you have seen it already, you can. Okay. The Whale follows the final week of the main character's Charlie's life, as his morbid obesity has caused him to go into heart failure. Charlie is an online college professor that is passionate about literature. Charlie's best friend Liz is a nurse and is the sister of Charlie's former lover, Alan. Alan is only spoken about in post-mortem as he unfortunately takes his own life years ago, partially due to his strict religious upbringing going against his homosexuality. Charlie left his daughter and his alcoholic wife a decade before to be with Alan, who is also one of his former students. Before we deep dive into the synopsis of the movie, I want to talk about what congestive heart failure is. So congestive heart failure occurs when the heart muscle doesn't pump blood as well as it should. When this happens, blood often dries up and fluid can build in the lungs, causing shortness of breath. Certain heart conditions such as narrow arteries in the heart or high blood pressure gradually leave the heart to be too weak or sick to fill up or pump blood properly. Obesity is one of the main causes of congestive heart failure, and in this case is the main cause of Charlie's heart failure. Liz diagnoses Charlie with this condition as he continuously shows symptoms, including severe chest pain and shortness of breath. Liz urges Charlie to seek medical care for himself, but Charlie continues to refuse by stating that he does not do hospitals. Very little reasoning was given. However, it is important to note that Charlie has over $120,000 saved for his child Ellie that was given to her when he passed away, and he has not dipped that into that for himself to get medical care that he needs. However, he continuously buys pizza and other fast food to feed his apparent binge eating disorder that got very
Lay down,
unstable
Wendigo.
once Alan passed away. Liz is a continuous friend for Charlie, struggling with the dichotomy of enabling his food addiction and trying to get him the help that he needs. She gives him an oversized wheelchair to help him get around, but when it comes to food, she succumbs to his pleas for large buckets of fried chicken and 12 of the subs, which she had to save him from choking on one, begging him to chew his food. In this scene, you can see it in her eyes that she wants him to get help for himself, but she can't force him to go to the hospital. But her devoted love to his friendship has put her in this position of powerlessness. She doesn't want to see him suffer, but she also wants to be someone that he feels as though he can depend on. Charlie is very self-aware and he's fully aware of his grim outcome. He's fully aware that he is going to die, and he is not willing to prolong his own suffering. However, he makes it known that he wishes to reconnect with his daughter before he passes away. Charlie has not seen his daughter for 10 years, but calls her mother often to ask about her frequently. Charlie has kept an essay written by his daughter as a way to calm himself down when he's experiencing symptoms of his obesity and general stress. The essay is written about Moby Dick and is written in no matter of fact way, and Charlie really enjoys how it was written. He implores his own students to be as honest as she was in her writing. Charlie keeps his camera off while teaching his online course, and shame can be associated with the decision to do so. The student
Alright,
only
last
sees
set
his
of
face, breathing mask, and torso
Just
48
fly.
hours before his passing. Charlie reached out to Elder Rescue without her mother's permission to convince her to see him at his apartment. Reluctant, Ellie visits him and is taken aback by his current state. She feels a lot of resentment towards him, as any abandoned child would. Charlie begs for her to stay and let him assist her with her homework as she set to fail high school. Charlie offers to pay her the money that he has saved for her in return for spending time throughout the final week of his life. Al does not know that Charlie is dying. I want to briefly talk about the character Thomas. Thomas is a religious missionary who happened to be at the door when Charlie was
Alright, last but not least, chest presses.
I'm not gonna
Almost
lie,
done with day one.
Thomas is a character that was difficult for me to understand, and that was really my only main criticism of the movie. Thomas states that he represents the Church of New Life, and that was the church that Alan and Liz belonged to when they were children. However, later in the movie, it is revealed that Thomas is only a runaway and does not represent New Life. There's a lot left to be desired for this character, and I think he was added to kind of fluff up the religious aspect between Alan, Liz, and Charlie. Throughout this movie, Charlie implores that the people around him should seek their truth and not just say what other people want to hear them say. And I believe that this is a really important motif of the overall movie, and it's going to be really important to talk about it once we get into the main criticism from the Dynasty community regarding this movie. At the end of the movie, Charlie
Alright, let's get this
medical
last
emergency. Ellie
workout
is
done.
pregnant and is begging for her father to remain alive and be there for her. This is something that she has wanted for over a decade. Al moves Charlie's walker out of reach and asks him to get up and walk over to her to show her that he is willing to fight for her and fight for himself. The final scene is Ellie reading her essay aloud for Charlie as he struggles to walk towards her. A white light is presented on screen to signify that, and plays into the religious motif throughout the film. The film
down.
ends with Charlie and Ellie on the beach, a memory that was foreshadowed previously.
3 to go.
So I hope that synopsis is okay. I just was really writing this out of memory for the film and also watch some reviews as well to kind of just remember what I saw. And I hope it's okay. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I would highly recommend it. I think it's so beautifully written and such an incredible movie. I think it's incredibly powerful and a very important story to tell. And so I want to talk about some of the main criticisms of the movie The Whale and try to dissect them as much as possible. And I'm also going to be talking about my personal opinions of The Whale as somebody that was a former binge eater.
What is it really about the movie itself, but rather the response to it? The Whale just premiered at the Venice Film Festival. As far as I'm aware, nobody who weighs 600 pounds was at the Venice Film Festival. Furthermore, no Infinifats were at the Venice Film Festival. Even more, I didn't see any photos of superfat people at the Venice Film Festival. Public opinion is being shaped by reviews and viewers. None of you have the lived experience of the people represented in this movie. And this is going to be the case until the movie gets released for streaming. Because movie theaters are not accessible for most super fat people, and especially not Indian people. That alone proves that this movie was not made for us. More thoughts about the
I want to talk about this for a minute because I actually reached out to the theater in which this was filmed in Venice. I sent out an email, and so I'm going to go ahead and post what was sent back to me. Mind you, I use Google Translate. I did take Italian in college, and I did well in it, but like I forgot all of it. And I was Arabic in college, and I can't remember that damn thing in it. So
Two down, two to
I
go.
decided to use Google Translate, and they actually replied to me in English, which was great. And they actually stated that they didn't have any weight limits for their seating, as well as that if accommodations need to be made for people of larger size or people with disabilities, that they can be reached out by email or by phone in order to make those accommodations, and those accommodations would be made for them. The Venice Film Festival, I believe, was a public event, and you could pay 40 or 50 euro in order to go to the event. Um, so nobody was necessarily invited. There may have been people that were invited to the film festival, but it was a public event. So if you didn't see super fat people or instead fat people go to the event, it's most likely because they chose not to go to the event for another reason. So let's talk about that just for a moment, if that's okay with you. I think it's incredibly important to talk about the Venice Film Festival, like overall. They were really kind and responding to me and making sure that people could be accommodated.
Hey, editing Haley here. So I just want to show you guys some pictures. It looks like on the website that I went ahead and looked up for that I could find out more information about the theater. It looks like that they actually went under a renovation between 2012 and 2015 to accommodate disabled people, also to take away like barriers and like make wider walkways and stuff like that. It looks like also the chairs is chair size increase during this renovation as well. So I think this is going to accommodate disabled people. And yeah, so that's what I was able to find about the theater itself. Okay, back to the video.
I also want to state that the directors of the whale, the actors of the whale have no control over the seating arrangements in the Venice Theater or in movie theaters in general. I'm not sure the weight limit for a movie theater chair. I think it is around 350 pounds. Don't quote me on that. So I'm not entirely sure. I want to state right now.
I went ahead and just did the last two sets back to back because it's getting late and I have to go to work later, so that's why I just did that.
From Brendan Fraser's like standing ovation and things. And so
All right, day one done. Let's get it cracking.
We're both missing some information here to really conclude whether or not super fat or fat were at the Venice Film Festival. And so to go on TikTok and make it very apparent that you're speaking in like this absolute and nobody that was morbidly obese or super fat or whatever was at the